Today I'm going to tell you two of the craziest and most destructive stories that have happened in the heavy equipment world over the past couple of months. One story is about two teenagers who stole two excavators from a schoolyard and caused over $1.5 million in damage, and the other one is about an angry husband who wants to demolish his house with his wife inside because she wants a divorce. And honestly, the two teenagers sound more sane because this husband, he sounds like he lost all of his marbles, scattered all over the floor. But before we get into that, welcome back to Downtime, presented by Conequip Parts, where if you have downtime, you might as well spend it right here. And if you have heavy equipment and you need heavy equipment parts, you might as well get it from Conequip Parts. 716-836-5069, or you can go to conequip.com/shop, punch in your SKU, do a little online shopping. We got what you need, but let's get into this story. So let's start in Australia. How many of you have left heavy equipment on a job site overnight? Probably most of you. That's a very crappy hook, I'm sorry. But how many of you have woken up to discover that two teenagers stole multiple pieces of equipment on your job site and basically turned it into a rage room just jousting with excavators? Probably not a lot of you, but shout out rage rooms. Some random project manager in Australia is gonna need one now because this is exactly what happened, allegedly, in Australia a few months ago. According to police, there were two 14-year-olds in Australia who went onto a schoolyard construction site, stole two excavators, a truck, and a roller, and proceeded to cause $1.5 million in damage. They probably felt so alive, though. Like, I can't even be that mad. Actually, I'm more impressed than anything. The reports say that they allegedly broke into the school first, hit up a vending machine, stole some food and drinks, and then immediately went for the construction equipment, which is an insane progression. That's like asking the pretty girl out to prom, but then proposing when you pick her up. But imagine being the police in this situation. The suspect stole cosmic brownies. Okay. The suspect stole some Mountain Dew Code Red. Okay. Sick. I love Code Red. Just give him a slap on the wrist. The suspects then acquired multiple excavators and damaged a bunch of property. I'd say about $1.5 million worth. Sick. Okay, yeah, that's actually super baller. But super illegal. Probably can't let that one slide. Bring him in. Apparently this happened around 4:30 in the morning at Ina College in Australia. Clarence, how about we steal those two excavators next? Oh no, look out, the cops are here. And before we get into the equipment part, what were they doing up at 4:30 in the morning? It's a school night, don't you know you have school tomorrow? Well, not anymore, I guess. Now, anybody who's worked around equipment knows that getting into equipment and operating the equipment are two entirely different things. This isn't like hopping into a golf cart. You can probably jam a butter knife into a golf cart and it'll start. Somebody had to start these machines, move them around, and operate them well enough to create over $1 million in damage. And if you've ever watched somebody with zero heavy equipment experience try to operate an excavator, you know that it's not as easy as it looks. The crazy part is that allegedly this wasn't just like one crazy night. This was actually connected to a longer crime spree where they were hitting up other construction sites, and they were actually at a stadium construction site the day before they caused $1.5 million in damage on this schoolyard. The day before, dude. Imagine being the police and looking for like seasoned professional burglars, and it's just two snot-nosed 14-year-old kids. This also means that this wasn't just like a crazy thought after a night of eating only Takis and drinking Sour Patch Kid energy drinks and burning your retinas with 7.5 hours of Minecraft. You remember those days when you're playing Black Ops 2, but you're also eating Cheetos and the joysticks get all greasy, and then 4:30 in the morning rolls around and you're like, yo, we should go steal two excavators and cause $1.5 million in damage. You remember those times? Do you remember those days? 14-year-old brains, man. And I know somebody's probably asking, like, how did two teenagers cause more than $1.5 million in damage? And the answer is very easy, plain and simple, right in your face. The answer is heavy equipment. Heavy equipment is really good at moving things, but it's even better at moving things that are not supposed to move. And also, you don't have to damage the entire machine for this to be expensive. You damage hydraulic lines or bend components. We're talking serious money now. The reality is, if somebody's determined enough, weird stuff happens. Remember Marvin Heemeyer and that silly little Killdozer incident? They should make a Killdozer like children's storybook. That would be cute. And most job site theft isn't some James Bond, Ocean's 11 type operation. It's literally just somebody seeing an opportunity. The only difference is that most construction site theft is like tools and copper and fuel, not excavators, not 2 excavators, not an entire fleet of excavators. These kids treated this construction site like they were Augustus Gloop from Willy Wonka in that like all-you-can-eat candy room. And remember, they are minors, so you're not going to see any mugshots of them, so I think we all have the same mental image in our brains. Is anybody else like just picturing Beavis and Butthead? So the moral of this story is if you're gonna commit crime, don't be 14 years old. You have your whole life ahead of you to commit crime. Be a kid for a little while. And also, don't make your getaway vehicle an excavator. They're very slow. Somehow, that wasn't even the craziest story, though, over the past couple months. So now we head to Pennsylvania. And unlike the story from Australia, this dude actually knew how to operate equipment, which kind of makes it worse, but it's not as much financial damage as it is just mental and emotional damage. Let me explain. According to police, a Pennsylvania man tried to demolish his own home with a Kubota excavator because his wife wanted a divorce. Completely stable dude, right? 48-year-old Eric Prisner, I don't know how to pronounce his name, I'll just put it up on the screen. Allegedly, he came home after a night of heavy drinking and got into an argument with his wife. That's never happened before. I've never heard anything like this. The wife told the police that the couple was separating and she wanted out, she wanted a divorce. Completely understandable. And his response? If it's over,
I'll tear the house down.
That's legit, he really said that, but it was probably more like, if it's over, I'll tear the house down, Susan. Don't try me. Either way, this dude Eric is having a real Joker moment. He reached his Joker era. We live in a frickin' society, man. Now, most people say things that they don't mean in an argument, and then maybe they slam the door, or maybe they send a text that they're going to regret later. But this dude looked out his window, saw his excavator, and said, hell no, fam. If I'm going down swinging. Because excavators, they swing, you know. He got into his Kubota excavator and started tearing down the rear side of his family home with his wife and 2 daughters. 2 daughters still in the house. There's nothing like a little sprinkle of narcissism on top of a heavy night of drinking. You know, just like not caring about anybody's interests other than your own. Love this guy. But he had 2 daughters and his soon-to-be ex-wife in this house that he was actively demolishing. Psychopath. Drone footage showed major damage to the roof lines. There was siding ripped off. There was brick torn away and sections of the interior exposed, with most people thinking that the damage was probably going to affect the structural integrity of the entire home. And if you've ever spent any time around demolition equipment, you know that houses are surprisingly fragile. Excavators are not. That's a matchup with a pretty predictable outcome. It's like John Bones Jones versus your uncle who somehow knows what somebody should have done to win the fight.
You see what's happening is he had him in the lock like this, but then you really want to get it like this so you have more momentum and you can, you know, just snap his leg like, I've been in like 5,000 fights for real.
His wife and daughters escaped without injury, which is definitely the most important part of this story because things could have gone very, very bad. He then fled the scene before cops arrived and then later turned himself in, I'm assuming when he sobered up a little bit. Now he's facing felony charges, including causing a catastrophe and multiple counts of recklessly endangering another person. Causing a catastrophe is one of the craziest charges I think you can get. And imagine being the responding officer to this. Domestic dispute.
Right to jail.
Possible property damage.
Right to jail. Right away.
Husband is actively attempting to remove the house from existence.
Believe it or not, jail.
So what have we learned today? Number 1, don't leave teenagers alone with excavators. Number 2, don't handle divorce proceedings with excavators. And number 3, if you are going to destroy a construction project, make sure you get the excavator on your side. He's undefeated. But I want to know from you guys, which story is crazier? The story of the 2 teenagers stealing excavators and causing over $1.5 million in damage, or a crazy drunk husband demolishing his own home because his wife wants a divorce? Or let us know your own crazy stories in the comments. Or text us, 716-929-5066. But that's going to do it for today's episode, everybody. Be sure to tune in next week to enjoy your downtime with downtime.
Let me tell them, downtime, it's about time. Big bad problem, trying to strip it down line. Downtime, turning all the cash to dirt. Downtime, getting us back to work.